It has been a great week reading everybody's comments and tasks, and we have enjoyed the engagement. The coordinators are happy to welcome you to this week, and we want to encourage you to continue to work and share all that knowledge that you have around all the work that we are doing. So this week we want to emphasize the importance of collaboration. So if you can move to that slide, Rose. There we go. So we're going to have 5 minutes to share in the breakout rooms how the teamwork in your Google Doc is progressing. For this activity, you will be able to connect with other moderators from other sessions, and you're going to be sharing a little bit about the process that you have been doing in collaborating and refining that proposal to get a great proposal that we can then review and hopefully see it in the sessions in January. So we're going to have 5 minutes there to share, and then we're going to come back and do a little debrief.
Gracias. Hello. Good morning.
How are you, Angela?
Hi.
Good to have you online. Welcome.
Can you hear me? Give me one
Yeah,
second.
we can hear you. Yes. So right now people are coming back from the breakout rooms. You'll see them in a bit.
Hello, I think by mistake I came into the main session. Could you just put me back to my room number 3?
It's okay. Breakout room activity is over.
Yeah.
So
yes,
that's
it's
okay.
over. Oh, I see.
5 minutes go by very fast, we know.
Yeah, Thank you so much.
Yeah, but we hope you had an opportunity to at least
Yes,
share a little bit and to
absolutely
and to discuss how your collaboration has been so far. So if you could have,
I did that.
Great. So we have that screen up again. So in the next slide, you will see a QR code for a Jamboard that we want you to take a look at. And we want you to, based on your experience, what you have done so far, and also the discussion that you had, those very short 5 minutes in your breakout room, what could or should be done to improve collaboration among tips, and that in that Jamboard, you leave 2 or 3 tips for other moderators. So you have the QR code there on the slide that you can copy from your phone, but I'm going to also add the link in the chat so that it's helpful and accessible for people depending on how you want to access that. So leave 2 or 3 tips for other moderators based on your experience and the discussion you had today. And you see the instructions there. You click on the post-it and then you start writing. For those who are not familiar with Jamboard, you click on that sticky note and then you write and it's going to appear. Please note that it has a certain number of characters. So you will see a little progress line at the bottom, and it'll tell you when you're going beyond those number of characters and words that are permitted. So people are already starting to add their thoughts and ideas.
Again? Sorry to interrupt you, Gracia. Can you show me the QR again? I don't know what happened.
So, yeah,
here.
Here. There you go. And you can also, and you have the link in the chat. You can also access it via that link. So we already have some tips. Someone says, be proactive. Do not hesitate to initiate a new discussion. A meeting to clarify, suggest. That's a great tip. Respond to the participants as soon as possible. and encourage them to finish the tasks. Thank you, Olenka. Very nice. People are, let me see if they're posting in other slides. No, only there. Set deadlines. Yeah, very important. Make the tasks engaging and interesting for the participants. Very good.
Feel free to
Very
also add your
good
thoughts
tips.
in the chat. Yeah.
Yeah, for those that it's easier to add them in the chat, feel free to add them there as well. I'm going to read two more. Meet regularly and assign tasks. Make the task engaging and interesting for participants. Regular communication with the team. Very great tips. I think this Jamboard is going to remain open, right, Rose? Throughout the day, if people want to
Yes.
continue
Absolutely.
adding more information. Perfect. Okay, so let's go back to our presentation and continue talking about the last week. So we're going to wrap up week 2, and we want to congratulate everybody for doing a great job. So a round of applause for everybody for engaging in the conversations. During this week, you collaboratively discussed about the elements, and you add and refined elements of your EVO proposal. You also worked on your syllabus. You shared about the readings, and we discussed a little bit about APA citations. We learned about and how to discuss during an online moderation, so we got some information that will help us with online moderation. We also reviewed materials and discussed copyright guidelines and how to prevent plagiarism. So, wow, we did a lot of work during week 2. In the next slide, we wanted to highlight, and we want to thank Larissa for providing some examples on how to align objectives to the week-by-week work. So we're going to continue refining that syllabus and that proposals during week 3. So it is important that you think about those objectives that you have for the session, and then how do those align every week. And here Larissa provided us with 3 different examples. So you have there the session objective, and then she gives us how it aligns to a weekly objective. For example, and this is from one of the sessions that we have. Understand why apps are relevant for virtual and in-person teaching. So the weekly objective for that is organizing a table, and these are examples, suggested examples, organizing a table for the favorite apps and write up their relevance for virtual and in-person teaching settings. And then she goes and gives us some more objectives. You have these slides on Canvas, so you will have access to these examples that can guide you in aligning your own session objectives and your own weekly objectives in your platform. So take a look at this, because it's very important that we have a cohesion in our proposals. In the next slide, you will see a little bit about and reminding us on the importance of this topic, because we discussed it and we had plenty of resources for this, and we want to emphasize that it's important to avoid plagiarism and show best practices when we observe copyright. Some reminders: use quotation marks when you cite. In your reference, in your in-text citation and in your references, make sure you include your author, year, and place of publication. Very important to paraphrase and cite the sources in text and in a reference. We want to write to the authors and ask for permission to use their materials when it's necessary. There are some cases that we need to ask for permission. And also, it is important here, and we want to thank Christine for this slide, because she lets us know here for web-based resources, it's okay to cite them without permission, but we always want to cite. That's important. And she gives us a very good reminder there. Teachers worldwide must respect copyright at all times. Remember, we are modeling for our students. So keep that in mind, and we want to make sure that we emphasize this for everybody. In the next slide, we have also a reminder to continue respecting and avoiding plagiarism. Here we want to remind you that images and charts require citations too. And we leave you there some links for APA style 7th edition so that you remember how to do that. We also leave you a good link to Purdue OWL. They have very good reference lists and basic rules that you can follow. And I wanted to share an anecdote about asking for permission. Just last year, I was writing an article on social emotional learning for an open access book, and I wanted to use a framework from Cassell. And the image is copyrighted. So that means that I cannot use it freely because it's not open access. It's not in Creative Commons. So I wrote to the people in Cassell. They have an email in their website. I wrote to them, and what I did is I wrote a detailed request to use their image. And I mentioned to them that I was writing this book, that the book was going to be open access because they needed to know that, and that I needed their image to appear in a specific part of my article that said this and this and this. With all this detail, they analyzed my request, and then they answered in an email and told me that I was allowed to use the image and I needed to cite it in this particular way. So it is important that we think about these things when we are using information that is from other authors or from other corporative authors. We always need to ask permission. We always need to cite. We always need to provide references. This is very important. So we wanted to emphasize this because we want you to keep this in mind at all times, especially when we are preparing these sessions and we are using resources from different parts and different places. Great. The next slide, it's some reminders about our process. You need to attend the live meetings to learn a little bit about what we're doing. If you cannot attend, you can listen to the recording and then post a reaction. You need to complete those weekly tasks, right? These are the things that are expected. Communicate with us. If you have any issues, any problems, we're here to support you at all times. Make sure you're collaborating with your team. You're using all those comments that were provided during the acceptance to refine your proposal. And you're going to get those badges, and those badges, I know those badges are fun to get. I know I like them and I enjoy them. And I know many of you do as well. And first-time moderators, remember, you need to earn your 6 badges for completing the work in Mod PD. And we need to have those refined proposals by November 13th for final acceptance. So those are our expected outcomes. And then in the next slide, we have some other quick reminders related to the format of our EVO proposal. So remember, it has to have a title, that 50-word abstract, and it has to be concise, 50-word. That helps us practice for whenever we are submitting proposals to other types of events. A target audience and a sponsor. And a sponsor can be anyone who is willing to promote your proposal. Remember, we're not asking for anything but promotion of your proposal. A week-by-week outline of what's going to happen. Then the way that you're going to communicate. The moderator profiles. Who are the people that are part of this wonderful proposal that you are going to be delivering in January? And you need to, of course, complete the training, hold the session in the time frame that we are indicating in January, complete everything in the Mod PD, be active and participate, and make sure that all EVO sessions are free and open to everyone. And we remember, very important, we are not awarding academic credit for participation in EVO sessions, right? So this is free for all, no credits. And important, very important, and we know this in our team, have fun and enjoy yourself. With this, I'm going to pass on the mic to Nagla, who is going to get us into the overview for week 3.
Thank you so much, Gracia. Hello, everyone. I just want to go back, if it's okay, Rose, to the previous slide, because in our breakout room, we got a question from one of the participants about changing the title of their session. And they were asking whether it was possible at that time of like creating the proposal and improving it and so on. Is it okay to change the title? It looks like they have found what they felt was a more appropriate title. So Christine or anyone, would you want to respond to that?
Yeah, sure. any changes, any revisions can still be made. I did post a message that they should happen by the end of this week on the Google proposal and on the wiki page by the lead moderator. But any changes are possible. It would be good to alert us to this change in a title because, well, the lead moderator can change the title on the page. However, there's one little caveat. The pages have been set up with the titles that we had been given. So if a title change is made, we have to make the change in the wiki as well. So we should be alerted. It can be done. We can rename the page, but we need to do it. I think an administrator in the wiki needs to do it. The lead moderator, I don't think, can do that.
And Christine,
Yes.
My question is it just the title change or also something else inside of like big changes? That's the question, because they went through the review, our review.
Big changes like what?
Like objectives changing completely to different objectives. The content may be like, because we went through the review and we still can review, but we should point out that we need to go through full review.
Yes. There is a danger in making really big changes, like changing the content, changing the objectives. Well, that's, if you want to refine the objectives, that's fine, make them more specific. But, changing the content and then changing the objectives completely is very risky. Because yes, we went through that whole review process and there will be another review process, but after the next review, there is no more time to make any changes. So I would say that's a risky proposition there.
Agree, yeah.
All right, thank you. So we can get started on week 3 slides now, please, Rose. All right. Okay, so during week 3, you will continue to collaborate with your team and please make sure that you finalize your session proposal by the end of this week. So anything, one suggestion would be to have go check the email if you had received some suggestions from the coordination team in the provisional acceptance email. Just have those somewhere where you can visibly see them and follow up with them and just make all the necessary changes. Hopefully those are refinements rather than like completely drastic changes. And make sure that, as we said, you have that finalized and tweak in any changes that you feel would improve. Some people are updating their sessions. I think the slide that Larissa kindly shared showed the session objective. So it was very, very helpful there. Another thing that we will be working on together is making sure that we learn about online spaces. So when we talk about online formats, we're mostly looking at what LMS, learning management system, are you going to host your session on? So again, one more time, we received a question, or it was like a discussion point about for returning sessions, if you've had your session hosted on an LMS like Canvas or Moodle, it's pretty straightforward to copy that and of course continue to update it and refine it and so on. But then there was a situation where people had their previous, and again, this is about returning sessions, they had their previous years of EVO sessions on other LMSs or other online platform, and they weren't really sure how they're going to transition that into a different LMS. So have that as part of your questions on the discussion forums in week 3, and we would be more than happy to add some links and make some helpful suggestions. Another thing that we will be considering as well is certificates and badges. So, and Grazia was telling us about how exciting it is to receive those badges and eventually the final certificate. So think about your own participants. Do you want to utilize the badge as a way to motivate them, for you to also check task completion? And of course, certificates will be provided by EVO, and we will be talking more about this. Jane will be talking about this. Next slide, please, Rose. All right, so the first stop in week 3 here, as far as discussions are concerned, you will have a list of readings on choosing which learning management system LMS you would like to use. But even after you decide on the LMS, what are best practices, okay, as far as instructional design? What's the best way to make the learning environment as engaging as possible for your learners? So we have a list of articles. We also have a podcast that talks about what those best practices are. So take them into consideration as you design your modules, as you design your pages, and also your discussions, if you would like to, again, align them to your session objectives, your weekly objectives, and so on. So far, we already had some contributions. I believe it was Sydney who started that discussion. So thank you very much, Sydney, for being the first to participate in that discussion. All right, next slide. Okay, so the first task this time is, as we said, finalizing the EVO session proposal. Please continue to complete the requirements on the syllabus. And again, there will be more refinements and revisions to contribute to in the upcoming weeks. But please make sure that there are some remaining items that you can continue to update, like media, technological tools. So deciding on the platform is one thing, but then deciding on what technological tools are you going to integrate into your Canvas, and again, whether or not they align with your session objectives. This is something that you will continue to work on. We would also like to remind you of to follow the elements in the management process in week 1. Do you want to click on the link, please, Rose? Okay. Yeah, so it's always a good idea to go back and just do a check and see if you are following all the required stages of creating your EVO session. Okay, so take a look at this link. This deck of slides, the week 3 slides, are available to you on week 3 of your Mod PD. So please take a look. Okay, let's go back to the slide. I think that's it. Rose, are you introducing the task team? Okay, so we're still doing the
There is still, yeah,
okay,
there is
sure.
one is still some
Yeah.
tasks to complete in the collaboration one.
Okay, all right. So as we said, you're going to decide on your team's LMS for your proposed EVO session. And then a very important thing to do, and we are expecting this is to get us to be able to see your session on that chosen platform. So we ask you to complete the join this session item on the proposal. So there is a section in the proposal that asks you to let your participants know how they're going to join your session. But before the actual participants, we would like us to, as like the whole team, to be able to take a sneak peek into your session as it is hosted or as it is transferred now on your chosen LMS. So maybe something to see about like a homepage or something to just to get us the feel of what it's like. And it's also a good opportunity for you to get going on that process. And then there is the Excel sheet. I don't know if there's a link to the Excel sheet here where you're going to add the, no? Okay.
No, it's in the
Okay, so I'll
in the
add
next thing.
in the next one. Okay, all right, go ahead. So
Well,
this is
it's
something that we'll
we
add.
don't
Go
have
ahead, Rose.
actually here the link,
Okay,
but we
I'll add
can.
it. Yeah, I can
Okay.
add it. Yeah, for sure.
Mhm.
Okay, so over to you now, Rose. I'm
Yeah,
adding
sure.
the link now. Maybe you can click on it, Rose, and share it on the screen so that people can see what the Excel sheet looks like.
Okay, that's a good idea. Are
Okay.
did you want to? Okay,
Yeah, so
just a
you
minute.
can,
Yeah, yeah.
okay,
I'm
go
open
ahead.
it.
Yeah, perfect.
Okay.
All right, so if you can make it a little bit bigger.
Mm.
All right, thank you so much. Yeah, so
No
you can see,
problem.
excellent. So you can see on the left column here, we have a list of all your sessions and the session titles. So you need first to let us know what LMS you are using and then provide a link. Of course, all the steps will be shared with you as to how, for example, on Canvas, where to go to get the join information. And you can see that we already have two sessions had already provided the link. So maybe we can click and let's take a look. Rose, did you want to click on one of those sessions?
The one not the one for integrating technology is wrong, I think.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I don't know
All
who
right,
added
so
it. Ah, no, it's correct. It's correct. But
Okay,
we can
let's
do
see
the
the
other,
next
we
one.
can, the
Yeah.
DBP, yeah. So this is our session and it gives you instructions to enroll in the course. And then the moment you enroll, you will be able to browse whatever has already been published and is made visible by the team members, the session moderating team for you to see. Okay. Right. Anything else we wanted to add here, Rose or Christine or Grazia?
No, that's good.
Yeah.
I did add a column yesterday because I found it necessary to indicate who is posting this link because the spreadsheet itself is shared by anyone with a link. So it doesn't
That was a
show,
good
it just
idea.
shows anonymous. So I asked for I added the column for the lead moderator who is posting this join information to put the name there.
That's a great idea. Thank
Yeah,
you.
I think so too.
Yeah.
I just would like to add before we move on to check if anyone has any question related to this first set of tasks, right? Perhaps if someone has a question, can ask in the chat or open your microphone while we are still here. Let's see here.
Okay, so Beatrice has a question. Go ahead, Beatrice.
Yes, and I just want to make sure that I have really understood what we have to do this week. Is like we have to create our session, for example, in Canvas or Moodle or Neo or whatever we are going to use. And we have to have at least information how the participants will join. Am I right?
Okay, it's a great question. So I'm going to try and answer, and hopefully if I miss something, other people will jump in. So of course, we're not expecting you to transfer all the content into your LMS, but at least maybe your first module or something that would show us that you're working on it, right? So we do expect, of course, you need time to transfer that content, but first you need to finalize your session proposal. So that's number number one. And then number two, maybe create a page. And of course, it's always up for improvement and refinement, but just for us to see that you started working on your content as transferred into the LMS. Okay.
Yeah, just to add to what
Thank you so
Nagla
much.
said,
Yeah.
I think an outline of what like you have it in your proposal, you already have your outline week by week. So maybe an outline in the platform of your choice that can be helpful, and that gives people the sense on how your session will look in that platform. And it also gives you an idea of what it will look like and what things you want to refine. So that's very helpful.
And something
the
else.
outline, I could add something to that, Nagla. The outline that Grazia mentioned would be the 5 modules. You create 5 modules, and that should be on one of your slides as the task. You need to create 5 modules and just put them there. That's the outline. That's going to be your course. And then you will fill in some content as the weeks progress, but you will have to have an outline with a few things started. So that should be on one of the next slides.
Excellent.
Yeah.
And one more thing, maybe we need to caution people to make sure that they do publish their courses, like especially on Canvas. Even if we're enrolled, like we need to be able to see your course on that LMS. So you have to publish it. So this is something as well that we will be checking if we have the information to join, but we're still not able to see it. That's most likely because you have not published your LMS yet, or maybe you have not published that page, maybe published the LMS, but you haven't published that page within the LMS where you have your outline or any content you would like to share with us. Okay, another question from Ella.
Yes, Nagla, thank you. You just mentioned about publishing and making it available for everybody to come and see, but maybe I misunderstood. So as well as the course in LMS is published, no enrollment is needed for participants to come and see, because my experience, in order to come and see at least a bit of the content, even the homepage, participants must sign first. No, it doesn't work this way?
Participants will have to enroll, right, Rose? Go ahead, Rose.
Yes. I think she's when we have the actual session in January, we have this process of the call to register. It depends, each session works different in that process. But at this point, while we are working together, the moderation team, coordination team, right, to make sure that the sessions are refined, the proposal and the space is starting to take form, let's put that way. We need the join code, right? If you're in Canvas, how do we access your session? So the coordinators and the other moderators can actually join. So at this point is just make it available as much as it's possible, right? So others can join. But it's important to note also that this first task of week 3, it's basically once you finalize your EVO session, then you have to have your LMS, right? You need to create if you haven't done yet. And then you need to share this join code, right? Where it is, the link and the join code. And whatever we have there, if you have or you don't have yet, is not a problem. This first step is just to share. Right, we have this task. Then later we are going to progress to do other tasks related to peer review and also looking into the LMS. Okay.
I just want to make,
Mhm.
sorry, Rose, to interrupt. I just want to make a quick note. There's a comment here from Nelly that if you're joining a Moodle, you don't have to enroll. It's open for guests. So for Moodle users, you can just add your link, and when people click on the link, they can join as guests. So they don't need to go through enrollment process. Okay.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Thank you, Nelly. Yeah, and just to finalize the team collaboration task, right? One, it's reminding the lead moderators that once the EVO session proposal, which is what we are going to have on the wiki, right, needs to be transferred from the Google Doc once everything is finalized to the copy and pasted to the EVO proposals wiki. This is very important to remind lead moderators. And also important to say that only lead moderators are in charge of doing that. So co-moderators, you don't have to worry. The most what you need to be working on is really collaborating so you get everything, you know, organized. Okay, dokie. Next one. Would you like to, this is still part of collaboration one? This is
Yeah, so also, as like we're always asking people to reflect, right? And reflection means you're looking back and you're looking forward. So try to think about what worked well as far as the team collaboration process is concerned, and what do you think could be improved in future collaborations. All right, so this is something as well to make a note of. For example, Christine shared our our Google document for the delivering best practices team, and a lot of, again, best practices as far as collaboration here are again on display for people to see, and maybe again this is something like I'm learning from being a moderator in the DBP team and also lead moderator in my Grammar for TESOL. I'm learning a lot of collaborative strategies, and I'm applying them to my own Grammar for TESOL session. So please continue to reflect on this collaboration process, and hopefully we will continue to improve and refine your collaborative work. Thank you very much.
Nagla, I just posted something in the chat. If you could go to the next slide actually shows the task that this discussion is based on.
No, Christine.
Okay, no, okay.
No,
this
one is a collaboration one.
Correct.
Yeah, okay, go ahead, Rose.
Let's just note here that the task is that we just discussed it, right? We had discussed it. They're actually going to be finalized here, like, for example, the LMS details and join information. You're going to be sharing these details, right, in the discussion that follows that task. Then in sequence, we have the wiki task collaboration too. Here is the point. Thank you, Nagla, for the overview and Grazia so far, right? We've done a great job so far. I hope I can live up to the expectations of my coordinators. They're so great.
Go for it, Rose.
Thank you. Okay, so here is, you know, this is one part of the task in week 3 that we need to be very careful about, because Christine was mentioning that before, right? She was saying, like, what is the expectation that we need to have by the end of the week 3, the outline? What does that mean? It means that once you start your online space, you're going to have to organize it into the 5 weeks. Perhaps you can call it week 1, week 2, week 3, as we recommend as title here, right? But depends on the system you are using. You're going to have different ways of organizing these modules. But basically, you need to make sure that you have separated the week. So when you add the content, you know where each content goes, and we have this clear idea that what is in week 1, what is going to be in week 2, and so on and so forth, right? One of the expectation also is to each module, weekly modules, or weekly topics, you add the topic, the date, right, to make sure that we know when everything is going to happen. So this is the task 2, when you need to start adding content to your line space. And continue to that as a best practice. It's also important to have for each module a page, an overview page of what's entailing that, what participants gonna do during that week, right? So we also expect you to have this overview page on your LMS, your online space, and shows what content, what objectives and content in terms of tasks you have there. Basically, when I look at these as a moderator session, co-moderator, I look at this from the point of view of what I already had added to the session proposal, right? Because when we post our session proposal on the wiki, what we see is, as a participant, we have an overview, right? What is going to happen each week. So think of this overview page as that information that you get from each week, and then you add to this overview page to make sure. So that's one of the expectations, to have these overview pages. For each module, you should have one of those. Copy and paste the objectives for each week onto that page that you create the module for each module. And then based on your syllabus, the Google Doc, you add 1 to 2 activities, content items. So start like filling your online space with the tasks, right? So you can like gradually build up your session activities, materials by creating these activities. And we also ask you to include at least 1 discussion forum in your wiki. And add also the newly created content items. Always is important to remember that everything that you create in your online space should be linked. Remember to link to your overview page, your objectives and task page. So like you see in our Mod PD, we are modeling that for you. You can see that we have this overview page where everything is linked and easily for access, and a navigation to organize this navigation also easy to find it. We also have resources. Well, here we have the Canvas and Moodle. We have tutorials. You know, if you decide to use either of them, you have here some help on how to set them up and how to create the modules and the wiki modules and so on and so forth. How to add the assignments, the tasks, activities. You know, because each type of LMS have a way of doing that. So here we have some help for you on that regard. And then it comes to a discussion, what's expected you to discuss. But again, I would like to go back to tasks and check if if this is still fresh in your mind, perhaps came up some doubts about it, and you would like to ask questions regarding task 2 for week 3. Any question in the chat, Nagla?
No.
So far?
So
No?
far, no.
So it seems like, I think this step is clear what to do.
Yeah, just a comment from Christine. Instructions on how to do these tasks are on the task pages in our Mod PD course.
Great. Yeah. Here we just really added the main points, right? To make sure you had a good idea of what to do, what's expected to be done, and also able to discuss them in case, you know, you have any doubts. But of course, when you start working on it along the week, perhaps something will come up in terms of doubts. So as Nagla mentioned before, just add those to your discussions, right? And make sure we know, and we can help you the best we can to clear those doubts and make sure you have everything set in the way you should. Okay, so as was said before, we always like to not just ask you to do things, but also to reflect on what you're doing, because in terms of professional development, right, for us, we also learn by reflecting on our actions and our decisions. So in the next discussion, following the adding content task, we have here some questions for you to reflect on these collaborations, these are everything that you had done. Okay, so these are the discussion questions we expect you to discuss. And these are really related to the reading. So, you know, perhaps take a look at those questions, think of the readings you had done and see how those actually helped you, right? And if you have any other readings that you perhaps you have done and helps you answer those questions, also contribute to that with the sources, more sources of reading. That would be really nice too. Okay. Okay. Any questions so far? Nothing new?
Nothing in the chat.
Okay, so I think we're doing good
Yeah.
so far. Thank you. Jamie, now we have
Yes.
Jamie going to talk about the badges. Go ahead,
Okay,
Jamie. Thank you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we
Yes,
can.
thank you.
Loud and clear. Thank you.
So yeah, thinking about certificates and badges, I think this part we are quite clear. We only have 4 new sessions, and so well, by the end of like our 5-week of EVO, we would issue a certificate to our participants, and that is, you know, so each session would issue like the certificate. You could choose to issue a certificate or not, but we would provide a template for you so that you could issue a certificate. But now, what about badges? Because so this is the certificate that Nelly has created for us. We've been using this template for quite a while. So yeah, we would like for you to establish. Yes, please go to the next slide. The previous slide. Establish a criteria for verifying the eligibility, and so moderators will be responsible for sending out the certificates to participants. Now, there are like you could do it sending it out one by one, but there's another way of a faster way of sending it out by bulk. We have the instructions on our Canvas to that is provided by Nevis, one of our moderators from, what's the session? I forgot. She provided us in like an easier way to send out like perhaps 100 or so certificates all at once using the Excel and some codes. Next slide, please. Okay, so this is badges, these digital badges also help us, you know, enable us to, you know, personalize our professional development, professional profiles of development. And so in the last page, you could see that we have set up an EVO Moderator PD digital badges, and the instructions are all in week 3's reading. And on this slide on the left-hand side, you could see the group leaderboard that we discussed last week. You could I guess you could only view this as an instructor and keep track of the participants who have haven't issued these badges. Keep track of their progress and perhaps send out reminders of people who needed reminders to come back to the course and to our session and participate. Yeah. And so I think the leaderboard progress and these reports are very useful for our moderators, and we have instructions on how to set it up on Canvas and also on Moodle, because I can see that most of parts of our sessions are on Moodle and parts of the other half is on Canvas, so we have both. Okay, next. So yeah, so I was thinking, like, why digital badges? And we're right now, I don't know if you are on LinkedIn, if we could all, because EVO has been here for like 23 years now, right? Christine, am I right? And so if you have an EVO badge on LinkedIn, this is your credentials, so perhaps, when you're issuing a badge, digital badge, you can consider what sort of skill what your participants have accomplished for that week. And so they could add it onto their LinkedIn profile. If you could let me share my screen a little bit. Can I take over?
Sure. Go ahead, Jane. No problem.
Okay. Let me see. Okay. Right. I am sharing this page. Okay. See, here. So I was thinking how to add digital badge to LinkedIn, and it says that digital badges are a way to showcase individual accomplishments from educational programs, from us, EVO, and it's all about credibility, relevant to employers, but also networking. Digital badges can serve as a conversation starters with other badge holders. So EVO is great, and so and there are ways to add digital badges to your LinkedIn, and here are some instructions. So I did it very fast, very quick. You add a profile section, and then it would be something under licenses and certifications. And so you could showcase that you have participated in EVO Moderator Professional Development. Okay. And this is the leaderboard I'm talking about. You could see that we have Sydney earning 4 badges already, and the rest 3 badges. And so we're on a right track, and this is a really good way of tracking everybody's progress. All right, so I am going to stop sharing, and I think that's the certificate and badges part. Any questions or comments? If not, oh yeah, these are our weekly badges. We have right now we are on week 3, so let us work hard in earning our week 3 Moderator Professional Development badge. Yay!
Yeah, that's right.
So lots of comments in the chat about the great idea of sharing those badges on LinkedIn. Thank you, Jane.
Thank you.
Yes.
And we next slide, please. And we do include we did include the instructions on how to create a badge, and linking it.
Can I ask a question?
On Canvas, yes. Yes, please go ahead.
And we could earn only 3 badges, right? So we have completed 2 weeks. So how could Sydney get 4 badges? I'm just asking.
We do
He already
have
started on week 3. He completed all the tasks for week 3 so far, I guess.
Okay, great. Congrats.
Lots of competition there, looks like it.
Yeah. It's true.
Yeah. Great. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Back to Rose.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Jane. Let me see. Yeah. Just to finalize this week 3 live session where we are wrapping up week 2 and continue working towards the completion of week 3 starting today. We have also this Padlet where I would like you to share any questions, suggestions, comments, right? So let me open this Padlet here. If there is anything you guys would like to share about this session, even suggestions for our live sessions, we still have 2 more to go during our Mod PD. So feel free, or if you prefer, you can also write in the chat, right? But it would be nice to also here get your feedback on how we are at the moment holding our moderation PD, and if there is anything you guys would like to share with us, give us feedback.
Yeah,
So
I
this
think
is
it's a great idea,
yeah.
Rose, about like giving us feedback because we're almost, I
Mhm.
would say, halfway through. So let us know how the whole experience has been for you so far, and any suggestions, anything that you'd like to share with us, please go ahead. Help us help you.
Yes, that's true.
Thank
I
you.
added also the link in the chat.
Yeah.
For you guys to access it. So, and here's the
I
QR
just added
code.
a comment in the chat to clarify the number of badges because we included a badge for pre-mod PD.
All right.
Everybody that has completed the tasks in the past 3 weeks has 3 badges, even though we're only starting week 3. Okay, so in total,
yes.
you will have 6 badges, even though there are only 5 weeks of content, but we do include pre-mod PD, so it's 6.
Yeah, that's right, Christine. Good reminder there.
Yeah, good clarification. Thank you, Christine.
Yeah. Jane also added how to add certificates, digital badges. Thank you, Jane.
Jane, did you also want to add the earlier link that you shared about transferring content from one?
Okay.
Yeah, that would be great because then we have everything in the same place.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. And you can continue adding, right? Your feedback to the Padlet or in the chat. We appreciate them. It's always good also to know how you guys are viewing the process. Making suggestions if you have. But we are done with our week 3, and I think we could have everyone now. Let me just stop sharing. Okay. And now, Jane, it's you now. It's on you.
On me, I don't know if I have everybody. If I have everybody on my
let's
page.
see.
Okay. Okay, 1, 2.
Turn on the cameras.
1, 2,
And
3.
you're there. Where are you?
One more time. 1. Okay, more. One more time. 1, 2, 3. Yay. Okay, wait. Andrea, wait. Andrea just opened her camera. 1, 2, 3. Okay, wonderful.
Yay. Thank you. Thank you. I hope everyone had a good session, right? And we continue to discuss and exchange in Canvas. And see you next week live again. Thank you, guys.
Thank you all so
Thank you.
much, and good luck.